Good morning and welcome to the Red Net Show, where it's always morning, even in the afternoon, and in the continued absence of Elaine, who everybody say a prayer for her for living with that many people in her family on this continued hiatus. We welcome back Joan from, well, it's not the generational gap anymore. It is the Porch Boys over here. So as soon as we get through the introductions here, you're going to have to tell us a little bit about your new project. But welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Yes, and from now on, you must refer to me as the artist formerly known as John from the Gen Gap, if you would.
Hey, I know what your actual last name is, and I will continue to refer to that in private messages, Mr. Redacted.
Yep, Mr. Redacted.
Or Elder if you're a Fallout fan. One of the two.
Yeah.
That leaves 6 characters that your last name could be, now that I go back and think through the series, that have been named Elder in the series. Which one of the 6 is it? We will never know. But regardless, here, welcome back. We have got we're just going to be completely honest with this. We're going to spend about an hour and a half talking about Afghanistan, and maybe we'll talk about other topics here, because that has dominated the week's news this week. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, it dominated the news last week, and it only happened a day before. But now, the admin has had 7 days to fuck it up even further, and that they have. I don't know if you've been keeping up with this or not, but it has definitely been a cruel summer for the Biden admin at this point. To bring it right back to the theme music here, what do you think of
that? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think anything of it. I was watching the chat, sorry. I didn't know it was going to be thrown in right away. Well, my apologies.
We're going to get into all of that and more over here on the Red Net Show. I mean, just looking at the topics here, we've got the Afghanistan thing. Right after the Afghanistan thing started falling out of the Biden admin's hands, a mysterious bombing, or at least an attempt at a bombing, showed up on just outside the Library of Congress. And entirely immediately, the entire internet looked up and said, "Fake." So we'll talk just a bit. NK. So we'll talk just a bit about that. In other news, it looks like I guess it wasn't an insurrection after all at the Capitol. Which do I have enough room to spin into my chair here? I don't have aviator, so that doesn't really matter anyway. But we all know how I felt about that, so we'll talk just a bit about what happened there. A little bit of Afghanistan news over here. Onlyfans is banning adult content. So we'll talk a bit about what this means, what this goes, and where everyone goes from here. I mean, I'm sure that you've got some opinions on that, even though I don't know if you've used the site or not, but we'll talk a bit about that. And the Pinko Pox remains in the news once again, including something that we're going to move to the top of the show, because it is just breaking, so it'll be right after the introductions. We'll talk just a bit about that. Plus, I got a little bit of surprise stupidity for you coming out here at the end, because, well, who doesn't love a little bit of surprise stupidity over here on the Red and Edge Show? Thank you for tuning in over on YouTube, DLive, Twitch, Facebook, and Trovo. Thank you for checking us out on all those platforms. And if you can't catch us live, you can catch us back over on YouTube and over on BitChute.com. Now that I have the processing power to actually do this, and it doesn't take a whole day to do it, I've been keeping up on that a little bit more, at least having the Red Net Show on all the platforms and the audio platforms as well. I've been uploading all of that over there, so that's working a little bit better. So you can go check us out on the audio platforms as well. It's a big difference when it takes a minute to export an audio file rather than 25 minutes. It makes a difference throughout your day.
It is definitely, yeah.
But you can check us out on all those platforms, or chat in the live chat. Tell us what you think. We do take live chat in between topics here, so ask your questions away. We definitely love questions here over on the Red Net Show. So you got a new project over here. I think most people that are going to be watching this program, except for the newbies, are familiar with you and your former project, the Generational Gap. But why don't you tell us a little bit about your new project?
So the new project I have is with 2 fellow, I guess, previously watchers, Seawall and Midget B. So it's a kind of a sub 2-hour podcast of just kind of like shit posts and a little bit of news here and there, but mostly just meme reviews, funny videos, just ripping on people, It's just a lot of fun, you know. It's basically like it's called the Porch Boys. So it's basically the idea is we're just hanging on a porch, just talking shit, and discussing current events and ripping on people like you would, like you do with your boys,
I
But
have
yeah,
sat on a porch with you before, and yeah,
oh,
we definitely do rip on people.
right, exactly. It's like that, but it's on the internet, so they can actually hear. The people that you're ripping on could actually potentially hear you. But
And
yeah, usually I was gonna
when does
say,
that air?
yeah, you can catch that every Tuesday night at 8:30 in the Eastern, as in the only real time zone, Eastern time zone, 8:30 p.m. on Tuesdays.
Could definitely go and check that out. Can you throw a link in the chat? You have to have admin wrench, so you should be able to put it in there. Otherwise, I can.
Yeah, I'll
Because if
do it
I
right
see
now.
it and I was gonna say if I see it and if it doesn't pop in there, I will come back and copy paste it from the restream chat and put it in there because I can put links in there. But yeah, if you want to do that, go ahead. I think that would be awesome here. But we have got to get into some of the news of the day here because there's a lot of Afghanistan shit to go over. It's kind of ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie. But first, we've got a little bit of absolutely breaking, brand new news today, as in was not even a thing while I was still reading on Contemporary this morning. But we'll read about it tomorrow morning on Contemporary or right here, reading directly from FDA.gov. FDA approves first COVID-19 vaccine for immediate release, August 23rd, 2021. Press here if you want to read this in Spanish.
Would you like to know more? Oh, in Spanish. Yeah,
Today, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration approved the first COVID-19 vaccine. The vaccine has been known as the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine and will now be marketed as Comirnaty for the prevention of COVID-19 disease in individuals ages 16 and older. The vaccine also continues to be available under emergency use authorization, including for individuals 12 to 15 years of age, and for the admin of a third dose in certain immunocompromised individuals. So there's the booster shot that we'll probably talk about a little bit later on in the show. So does this mean, and I asked you this a little bit off air, and I hope you give a spicier answer now than you did when we were off air, but does this mean you're right in line to go and get your vaccine?
oh boy, howdy! I love me some government, some government approved things. You know me, always about that government, especially OSHA. OSHA was my favorite. No, I don't. Yeah, I don't care. That doesn't affect my judgment on whether or not I want to get it. It wasn't about FDA approval. It's like, you know what I mean. Like if I'm distrustful of government, like what makes you think I'm going to trust a government agency when it says no, 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 that's okay. It's approved now. Like that's not, at least for me. I mean, maybe it'll convince some people. I imagine there are people out there who are just waiting on that one thing, and then they're gonna
Yeah.
go. But no, it's
Well,
not
that
me.
was one, and there were people that made the argument too that I highly respect. People that are part of the network that's going to be coming up in the near future that you and I know about, but the audience knows it's happening, but they don't know any details about it other than that at this point. But I mean, there's a woman who is going to be a part of that network, and she has used the argument that this is experimental vaccine that hasn't been FDA approved, and I just kept thinking back and like, that's not the point. That it's not FDA approved. The point is it's your body and your choice. You shouldn't have to have a
Right.
government mandating what you put in your body. And I tweeted this out today just because of that, just to kind of put everybody back on the track of what you should and shouldn't be able to do. I mean, body autonomy is the big thing of the left, and this whole vaccine. I might make a solo video about this, but this whole vaccine, especially with the side effects. What's up?
If I may, no,
What?
the left do not give one goddamn about bodily autonomy. They claim to when it's convenient, but they don't. There's no actual like philosophical foundation there. They don't actually care at all.
Right.
It's a talking point. It's rhetoric. That's it.
Well, I
So I'm
mean, I
sorry.
look
Go
at
ahead.
this, and this whole thing should have been the gift that kept on giving for the left as they tried to say that, you know, this is what the free market does. Because I actually wanted to get this thing at first because, the gloves got off, everything was taken off the free market. The free market was able to go and do its thing and bring vaccines to the table. I'm like, cool, I'm going to wait 6 months and see if there are any big side effects. And if they're not, I actually might do this just to reward the free market. And then
Cool.
there
It
were
also
side
was.
effects, and I said, well, fuck that.
I'm not sure exactly. I guess it's only free market in that you could choose whether or not to take it. I'm not sure where
Hmm.
the free market angle comes from. I mean,
Well, the
these
fact
major
of the matter,
companies were paid by the government to do these vaccines, and there's only a few of them that were able to do it. I don't think that's very free market.
but they were competing with each other to do it. But what this is what I
Yeah, I
tweeted out
mean,
over the thing. I said, so here's the thing. I barely take aspirin, and I haven't seen a doctor in about 12 years. You can put all the government labels in the world on this vaccine, and I'm still 95% unlikely to take it and 100% unlikely to desire it.
right, for sure. In fact, I'm less likely to desire it now that you've said it's government approved. Like that makes me even more wary.
Well, and I mean, I think there was some politics that went along with that too. I really do. I think that
Yeah,
there was some pressure on the government to get this FDA approved, so you could take that talking point away from the Trump people,
mm-hmm,
those evil Trump people. Oh my God!
100% right. Yeah,
But
yep.
that's what, and we'll dig into this a little bit more as we go. But that's what they're seeing off of this right now. Where is my lightning round? Oops. If you guys don't want to watch what I was watching on YouTube, that's what I just put in that other window. It was Lauren Chen. So I mean, it wasn't like it was anything bad, but
Not
is it this
terribly
one?
bad, bad.
Yeah, there it is. All right, so we got to talk about some other stuff that happened here. First and foremost, let's talk about Mr. Schumer. Oh, I thought I had the video of this. I guess I don't. Let me refresh this and see if it comes back up. Oh, they must have deleted the. Oh, there it is. I was going to say they must have deleted the tweet, but I mean, this right here, this is more of. It's less that I care, because I don't care what Stephen Colbert and Chuck Schumer do, but this is more. I had to see it, so you guys have to see it. So this is what they did in New York while Afghanistan was burning. Your thoughts?
I wish I didn't have any. I wish I could no longer think, because he who cannot think cannot cringe. And oh man, am I cringing? Oh, is that bad? Yeah, no, that's horrifying.
Like, I care so little about what Chuck Schumer and Stephen Colbert do. I'm not even going to read the article. I'm just going to make everybody watch the video. That's it. I don't even care what the context is.
Right, doesn't matter.
Let's talk about some other a couple updates from stuff that have happened throughout the week here. Reading from Fox News, Arnold Schwarzenegger loses corporate sponsor of bodybuilding event for dangerous anti-American comment. Arnold Schwarzenegger's rant about the importance of wearing face masks has landed him in hot water. Fox News can confirm the former governor of California has lost a sponsor for his annual bodybuilding event known as the Arnold Classic, because why would it be named anything else? Due to controversial comments he made last week, the former governor of California riled up citizens when he called mask-averse Americans schmucks and said, "Screw your freedom," to those seeking to terminate COVID-19 mandates. In a statement to Fox News on Friday, Redcon One, a sports nutrition brand, confirmed they've pulled out from the Schwarzenegger event as well as any others he's involved in. Their statement says, "To be clear, we did not pull out of the event because of a mask issue. We understand the importance of public safety as well as the responsibilities of all event organizers. These are unprecedented times and we're aligned with public safety for all. We elected to discontinue the support due to Arnold's comments. Screw your freedoms," a spokesman for the company said. Take it away.
Hey, I mean, I don't care about his sponsors. I guess. I mean, I guess get what's coming to you. I guess. I mean, he has every right to say what he said. I mean, who cares, right? I mean, I don't think that he should be applauded for it or anything. But I mean, freedom of speech. He can say what he wants, and yeah, as long as that sponsor wasn't attacked by people on the right, I guess suppose would be the people who would do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like when people like
Right.
brigade sponsors to drop somebody until they do. right? As long as that didn't happen, then yeah, I'm totally fine with it. Do what you want.
Interesting take. I just thought it's kind of funny. I love to watch freedom of association come out here. I like to watch it in both directions, but I really especially like to see it when somebody comes out and says "screw your freedom," and somebody else comes out and says, "Yeah, no, we don't want to associate with you anymore." I like that.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Freedom of association is pretty fun.
Did you see that there was a Trump rally over the weekend?
I did. That was pretty fun.
What was the total number? Like 64,000 people showed up to watch Trump and a stadium packing rally, while the official White House Twitter or video feed can only get like 300 viewers at a time.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
So there was some mixed messaging coming out of this, and for the most part, the people who were going to the rally were quite enthused and pleased with the former president of the United States, especially after Trump slams Biden for Afghanistan withdrawal during an Alabama rally appearance, because he was going to do that. It was his deal. He was the architect of it. But he also drew boos at the event because he urged the people in the stands to go and get their vaccine.
Yep, he did. Um, I mean, I guess I don't know why he wouldn't do that. Like, he was pro-vaccine from the beginning. I
Yeah.
know that like the left, like the leftist media, especially corporate media, loves to say, "Oh, Trump is all anti-vaccine and stuff." But like from the beginning, he was the one who, yeah, I think, like you said earlier, he was the one who like orchestrated it, and especially the distribution of it. Like that narrative that he's all like anti-vaccine is just ridiculous, absolutely false. Like he's always been pro. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like they can't keep their own story straight.
No, they can't. And I mean, I do understand where some of the people would come out and boo because, a lot of them have made the argument of, well, I'll just have to wait for God to save me and then I won't need to get this there vaccine and all this kind of stuff. And
Well, I think it's more of a knee-jerk reaction that is like anything that has to do with the vaccine is a negative in their mind already. So as soon as someone brings up vaccine, they're like, "Boo! I'm against." Nope, done.
yeah, that I can see as well. But yeah, it's a mixed messaging, but it's still hilarious that, he can fill a 65,000 person stadium and, you can barely get the most popular president of the United States, honk honk, 25
Yeah.
cars from the Enterprise Rental Car Agency on a stage in Minnesota. All right. Let's move on here. Talking from WCVB, slow moving Henry brings risk of thunderstorms and more heavy rains to parts of Massachusetts, which I did not reach out to my friend in Mass this morning, like I said I was going to, so I will have to go and do that after this show here. But yes, the tropical depression, I think it's been downgraded to, is hitting the American Northeast at the time. I do hope my friends in New York, Massachusetts are safe.
Get fucked, Yankees.
Yeah,
It's your turn.
you have probably a little bit more experience with this hurricane type weather than they do.
That's right. No, I mean they'll be fine. The water's too cold up there to maintain a hurricane. Like it's gonna get downgraded. It's just gonna be a shitload of rain. They'll be all right.
Yeah.
And a good Monday to you. I'm
Oh, shut up,
meteorologist Cindy.
you. Go away. Nobody likes you. But yeah, it's brought. It looks like it was supposed. I thought it was making landfall coming into New York State, upstate New York, but it looks like it made landfall through Rhode Island and then went through Connecticut and up to Massachusetts. So, and then it's supposed to take a turn before it hits like Vermont, New Hampshire too hard and head back out to the ocean. So, well, batten down the hatches, and I hope you bought some extra rice. Here's an interesting one for you. Supreme Court rules California gig worker initiative is unconstitutional. So I thought this was going to be the opposite of what it was when I found this because I completely somehow missed the story about Prop 22 and the fact that they got a carve out for people who are driving DoorDash or Uber or something like that. Somehow last year, in the midst of all the rest of the commie coof bullshit, I completely missed the carve out. I remember them talking about Prop 22 and making all these people employees, but I missed the carve-out somewhere. But according to Reuters, the Supreme Court of California has ruled that the carve-out for gig economy companies such as Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, and Instacart The carve-out for them is unconstitutional. It has to do with taking away the ability for legislatures to legislate in the employee's best interest somewhere in the future. What's up?
Okay. No. I'm just trying to figure out what exactly they mean. Like they're not going to be able to legislate for workers' rights.
Well, to read here from
Not sure.
Reuters, ruling
Yeah.
Alameda County Superior Court Judge Frank Raish wrote that the measure known as Proposition 22 was unconstitutional. It limits the power of a future legislature to define app-based drivers as workers subject to workers' compensation law, making the entire measure unenforceable, the judge wrote. That's the actual ruling that the judge put out.
It's just unenforceable. So it's
Yeah.
not that it's like unconstitutional. It's just like, oh, we can't enforce it.
Well,
What
I
is it
guess
supposed to do though? Like, what is it supposed to do exactly? I'm not sure I understand. I've read
was
a little bit
supposed.
about it earlier, but I'm not sure Oh, go ahead.
Well, what Prop 22 was supposed to do is it was supposed to indicate that all Californians were they basically weren't allowed to be independent contractors. They had to be an employee, therefore they were subject to health care, workman's comp,
Mm.
workers' compensation, unemployment
Yeah.
benefits, and the remainder of it. They had to be employees of the companies. Like Uber actually had to come on and hire them full on. They couldn't be independent
Right.
contractors anymore.
Right. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty horrible. That's going to destroy. Well, yeah, like you were saying about anything in the gig economy, like that destroys so many people. In fact, how much music comes out of California? I mean, Jesus Christ! Imagine like every bar has to make their little shitty guitarist who goes up every Wednesday. They have to make him an employee now. Like
That's
that's
another end of that.
yeah.
But I don't think
That's
there
what I'm
was
saying. It's not just.
the
Oh, go ahead.
carve out was specifically for the gig economy people, like the DoorDash guy. That was specifically
Mhm.
for that kind of work. So I'm guessing that guy already had to be an employee.
I have no idea. We'd have to ask somebody from California if that's the case. But I mean, that's what it sounds like, right? If anyone in
Yeah.
the gig economy, right? Or did it
Yeah.
specify
No, it specified that app-based workers could be carved out
app-based?
from it. But I think that and this is what I'm interpreting from the Alameda County Court. What I'm interpreting out of this is the fact that they looked at this and said, we can't do this equally protected under the law, so guess what? You're employees now too.
Yeah, that sounds like Uber and whatever Postmates and Lyft and whatever are gonna be would be gone in California. I mean, rather than like it'd be a lot cheaper. Like, yeah, you're not gonna make as much money, but it'd be a lot cheaper just to pull out of that state
Yeah.
than having to make them full employees and give them all the benefits and stuff. Because
Mhm.
most people who do Uber have a full-time job, or at least
Right.
something, right? They're not doing Uber full time. Most people, right? I'm sure there are a few, but most people aren't doing that. So it's like they're not even going to be full-time workers making money for Uber, but they get all the full-time benefits like healthcare and whatever else. Um, that doesn't make any sense. It just ruins those businesses.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
And I know, like my friend Brady Leonard from the No Gimmicks podcast and from Southbound Fearing, he was doing Uber and Lyft because his career was guitarist in a Christian rock band.
yeah,
So when they weren't on tour, he'd just pick up his phone, and this is in Ohio, this isn't in California. But yeah, he just picks up the phone and says, okay, I've got a Honda that gets really good gas mileage. Here, I'm on duty right now. Come pay me for a ride.
yeah.
So that's what's
Makes
coming
total
back
sense.
off of this. We got to keep going here. We got just a couple more on the lightning round before we get into Afghanistan here. This one I thought that you might find funny. I found it funny because it means that Mr. Obama has fallen out of favor with the progressives as well. Reading from CBS. Chicago group asked Supreme Court to halt work on Obama Presidential Library. An organization focused on protecting public parks in Chicago is asking the Supreme Court to halt the construction of former President Barack Obama's presidential library, arguing that the federal government failed to conduct the legally required reviews of the center's environmental impact. In their request, filed with Justice Amy Coney Barrett, the group Protect Our Parks said that in building the Obama Presidential Center, the government will need to demolish significant parts of Jackson Park, which will have adverse effects on the environment, landscape, wildlife, and migratory birds.
Okay. I mean, This just sounds like bureaucracy fucking with the government, which is nice, I guess. But it kind of like I don't know. I don't care about this library at all. I'm nowhere near Chicago. I'll probably never go to this library ever in my entire life. Um,
I am near
I don't
Chicago,
know.
and
I
I'm probably
mean,
never going to go anywhere near this.
right,
But I mean,
right.
if you look at where this is, and I'm pulling this up right now on the map here, where this is, the Jackson Park, where it is. I mean, really, you're surrounded by water on one side and industrial park on the other side. I know exactly where this is. I didn't know where this was at first when I like pulled it up, but I'm looking at it now, and yeah, you're surrounded by industrial park on three sides and water on the other side.
So is it the water side that they're worried about? I don't
I,
know.
I don't I don't know particularly, but it's just the fact that I mean you're West Woodland, Washington Park, Oakwood Cemetery, all these areas down here. You are surrounded by industrialism all the way around in all three directions. But it's so terrible that they have to have the library here. It's hilarious to me that the progressive left has found a way to fuck with the Obama admin and his legacy.
Yeah.
A couple more here.
I mean, I don't. It's not
Shut
going to
up,
mess
you.
with his legacy. It's not going to mess with his legacy because I mean, he's already like the best president ever and stuff. Like he's the media's darling. I mean,
Legend
he'll
in his
live
own
on.
mind.
Well, and the corporate media is, and by extension, everyone who believes them. So, I mean, yeah, his legacy is going to be fine.
Couple more here, just because. Ayanna Pressley, cancel rent advocate, discloses thousands of dollars in, wait for it, rental income. Reading again from Fox News, Mass Rep Ayanna Pressley's financial disclosure shows she and her husband made thousands of dollars in rental income last year. Pressley has been one of the most prominent advocates for canceling rent during the COVID-19 pandemic. We must cancel rent, extend eviction and foreclosure moratoriums, provide rental assistance, and offer legal representation for those at risk of eviction, Pressley, a member of the far left squad, wrote in December of 2020. And then, yes, it turns out that even though she's yelling every day to go out and cancel rent, she does have a rental property. Probably with thousands of dollars like that, more than one.
Probably, yeah.
But I'd have to see, where is Ayanna Pressley's district? Because that's at Mass, and I probably am at least familiar with the neighborhood that she's out of. She is in the 7th, which means she is in Milton, Chelsea, Everett, Randolph, and Somerville. Mass District 7. Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's making bank off of a property that's in that district. That's assuming she lives in the same district that she owns property in. Jeez. Holy shit, she is making big fucking bucks off of that district. Oof. It's not just thousands of dollars. She's probably into the 5 to 6 figures a year, depending on how many properties she owns in that district. Holy crap.
Yeah. Of course. So you got to ask, like, like what's the what's the end goal here then? Does she actually want to take that money away from herself, or like what's the play? What's the move that's being made?
Begging for votes and hoping that nobody finds out that she actually is that's not even slumlord territory right there. That's not that is big money part of Boston. Basically, it's that she wants votes from the people that live down in, I don't know, Jamaica Plain, places like that, Southie. She wants those votes, Dorchester, places like that, but she wants to continue to cater to the people up in Boston proper, up in Chelsea, Somerville, areas like that.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? Trust a politician that they actually want what they say? I don't know. I don't think so.
Trust the politician, go get the vax. Speaking of people in the lower income brackets that Ayanna Pressley wants votes from NPR, in the wake of the Afghanistan story, Biden found time to come out and make this announcement here. Families who receive food stamps will see the largest benefits increase in history. This comes to NPR via the Associated Press. The Biden admin has approved a significant and permanent increase in the levels of food stamp assistance available to needy families, the largest single increase in the program's history. Starting in October, average benefits for food stamps, officially known as the SNAP program, will rise more than 25% above pre-pandemic levels. The increased assistance will be available indefinitely to all 42 million SNAP beneficiaries. That is a buttload of a percentage of people in this country that are on SNAP. I didn't realize it was that high.
Yeah. Well, especially right now, right? Or was those numbers
true.
from before? Pre-pandemic or no?
Yeah, pre-pandemic was the numbers for before, so... the aid boost was first reported by the New York Times, a former newspaper, and the details were confirmed by a spokeswoman, can't misgender. For the Agriculture Department, they will be formally announced Monday by Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack. The aid boost is being packaged as a major revision of the USDA's Thrifty Food Plan. In concrete terms, the average monthly per-person benefits will rise from $121 to $157 per person per month.
Huh. Where is this? Is this federal?
This is federal.
Huh. Okay.
And I believe this is federal assistance to state programs because, if I remember correctly, SNAP is a state-based program. I've never been on it, so I have no idea. But it is a state-based program. But go ahead.
I was on it. Like 10 years ago. Well before I was a libertarian. Well before I went down that route. And I was getting $200 a month in SNAP. Oof. So just like the food benefits, right? Nothing else. That's all I ever had was just the food. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that's weird. That's why I was asking about the one. You said it was what, 121 to 127 or something.
121 to 157 per person.
57. Yeah. So I was like, oh, I was getting 200. Like, what happened? But yeah, fair enough.
So that's
you can actually surprisingly buy a lot of food for $200 a month. Like if that's all it's going towards, and like you can actually buy a lot of food. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably about maybe 40% more than my food budget per month. What I spend on food a month.
Yeah.
And that's just me.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It was just me. Like I know. At the time, my neighbor, who I've brought up before on different podcasts and stuff, he was getting like $700 a month, but he had like 4 kids under the age of 10. Like, so he got quite a bit more. But yeah.
Yeah. All right. And the last one that I have for you is another one of those of I saw it, so you had to see it too. But there is a little bit of a story that goes for this. This is Valkyrie Jacobson Smith, a former teacher in San Francisco, who had this to say about her talks at the lunch table. Let's listen to what Valkyrie had to say.
Story time. This has been my first year in preschool with a class of my own, teaching alongside another queer neurodivergent educator, and we have been rocking our twos class. We've been talking about gender and skin color and consent and empathy and our bodies and autonomy. It's been fabulous. But our teaching team is shifting and a new person is being onboarded, someone with many years of experience. So today at the lunch table, when the topic of gender and genitals came up, one of our students plainly looked up and said, "Well, I'm a girl today, but I know that teacher Co isn't." No, they're NB. And the look on the incoming teacher's face was priceless. She was shocked in a good way, and she just looked around at the two of us and said, "This class is incredible, and I am so impressed."
Oh my God.
I saw it, you had to see it.
Oh my God. So, first let's start with, what are the odds that this actually happened? What do you think the odds are?
I'm pretty positive it did, actually. As far as the way the story goes, I don't know if that's true or not. The first time I listened to this, I actually missed the fact that she was talking to a preschooler about the The preschooler saying that the other teacher was NB. I thought it was another teacher because I've never experienced a situation where teachers sit with students
Of course not.
at lunch break. I've never experienced that.
Yeah, of course not. Like, I mean, I guess preschooler, like, yeah, I mean, they're there to like keep everyone sitting down in one spot and keeping their fingers out of each other's mouths and stuff. But sure, I mean, yeah, much more after preschool. Yeah, you're not sitting with the kids anymore. Like, yeah, it's a clear class distinction there.
Yeah. This woman who also owns a, I believe it's a cosplay company called Co-Creation, tweeted out as well. Hashtag legal peeps, what kind of waiver release would you need to create safe space to talk to youth about hashtag kink away from their parents, hashtag sex ed?
Mm-hmm.
So with this, now people they found out because of her LinkedIn profile, which has since been deleted. They found out what schools she worked for. She worked for a school in San Francisco. And as people were calling to mention the fact that she had said this over on TikTok, they got terse messages from the administration saying, this person no longer works here.
Yeah, I hope so.
I have not been able to independently confirm or corroborate that she has been fired, but yeah, that she no longer has a job at this point. So get woke, go broke, apparently.
God, I hope so. I love when that happens. Yeah, get woke, go broke.
The worst part is, I mean, that girl's kind of my type, except for the fact that she's out of her ever-loving fucking mind. I mean, I look at him like, she's kind of cute,
hang
actually.
on, isn't that... I was going to say, isn't that your type, though?
That's actually a fair criticism. You've heard the podcast with Remzo. That is a fair criticism. Hello, I'd like to call in and report a murder.
Boom. Roasted. Yeah. Oh, man. Sorry, I had to. It was too easy.
So, yeah, that is that. Let's check in with some live chat here, see what these guys are saying. Then we will talk, well, for the rest of the show about Afghanistan, I think. Because there is a lot. Let's see. What do we have over here? Oh, I see Mr. Behaviors in the chat, and he and I are going to have a little talk here in a little bit. Ron Helton is here. Uh-oh. Good afternoon, Jay, Fireman Edgar, and fellow Ed Heads. My kitchen is fixed, by the way. I haven't sent out pictures, but it's like nothing else. Nothing happened. We just have to wire in the overhead hood. But yeah, everything's fixed up. Nice, everything turned out perfect.
Yeah, badass.
Highleaf says, what music do you use for your intro? It is a non-copyright version remix of Cruel Summer by Daniel Leibt is the artist. I can link that in the Discord for you guys if you want. Quest Panic says, yeah, it's a royalty-free cover. So yeah, we don't get popped on YouTube for it. Sully Blue says, to be fair, John's got the boobs, but not the red hair. Correct. I thought you did have red hair.
No.
I'm colorblind,
I have brown hair.
Oh.
Yeah, I have brown hair.
You pop off the derby and show us, or?
No. Nope.
Hollywood Board 420 says, when did we get to talk about what really happened in the last 18 months? Is it time yet? We know the truth. Everything was about the removal of Trump. Big facts, all of it. That is, that's not true. Nothing bad happened in the 2020 election. Honk, honk. Biden is the most popular president that ever existed. Susan, don't ban me, bro.
Yep, correct.
Quest Fanning says, John's inspirational words. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I said it a lot. It's a lot that I don't know.
Highleaf says, January 6th was a giant selfie fest. We'll be talking about that. Quest says, I've got your platform right here.
Ooh.
Highleaf wants to know if s'mores are included in the Porch Boys. That's to you.
Unfortunately, it is bring your own s'mores, but we do provide the laughs and the entertainment. The rest is on you.
Ben Wild says, if January 6th was an insurrection, what did we watch all last summer with Antifa and BML? I think he means BLM. Attacking federal buildings and Cacklepuss helping to get the bail. That was a mostly peaceful protest.
Yeah. However, the Bureau of Land Management is a terrorist organization.
Fair point.
BLM.
Community, is that like Kermit's Family Reunion?
I like that.
Sully says, yeah, it wasn't about the FDA approval, more about the side effects. Didn't outweigh the outcome. Harvey McLeod is here. Did you hear about the doctors walking out in Florida? I have heard about it, but I have not corroborated it yet. Mr. Behavior is here, who I was told by another live streamer in her live chat that Mr. Behavior just got married, and I didn't get a phone call, so I could say congratulations. So, congratulations, Mr. Behavior.
Congratulations.
Mazel tov.
Dude. Hell yeah.
I raise my glass to you.
That's right. Sir?
Quest Fanning says Spearman is cool, Peppermint is cool, government not so much.
Not a big fan of any of those, so.
Helton says the FDA also approved a dual helm, an Alzheimer drug, even though most of the doctors and scientists objected. They question the cost and effectiveness. Somebody has got to make money off the drug. The FDA has zero credibility. Maybe Biden should be taking some Aduhelm. We'll talk about that probably a little bit later on. Somebody's watching Lauren Chen. Yeah, I was listening to some of her stuff while I was doing some show prep at the beginning here with the wireless headphones. I can sit down and watch a TV show, but if I listen to talk radio or something, I can walk around with it and not have to watch the video. So that's the reason I was doing that. Otherwise, I'd have been watching Mr. Robot, because I'm about all the way through the 3rd season of that. Have you ever seen Mr. Robot?
No.
It is a tremendous mind fuck, but it's really good.
Interesting. Okay, yeah.
Mr. Behavior says Lauren Chen is fine as fuck. I'm not as into Asian girls, so maybe not for me.
She's only half Asian, so she's fine.
That's fair. More talk on the doctors thing. And we'll talk about the doctors thing in the morning, I think, a little bit more, because I've not been able to independently verify any of that. Quest Fanning says, I'm sorry I ruined your Black Panther party. I'm not sure where that came from. Ben Wild says, you can find me on OnlyFans as Girth Brooks. Aaron A is here. Poor Arnie. Everyone pulling out these days. Ben Wild says, everyone pulling out but Hunter Biden.
That's pretty good.
Sully Blue says all this pro-vaccine is just the politicians' pressure from lobbyists to try to make their money on developing the vax. Mr. Behavior doesn't care for the vaccines, apparently. Some explicit stuff I'm not going to read there, but he's not a fan, I can tell you. Ron's not a fan either. I can tell from looking at here.
Wait, Ron's not a fan?
Ron's not a fan of the vaccine.
He loves everything to do with the government. What are you talking about? Ron's like the biggest government cheerleader ever. Are you kidding me? That
guy. Yeah, Fanning says the lawmakers didn't see it coming when Uber and Lyft suggested they would shut down instead.
Yeah, no shit. It's cheaper. It's cheaper just to pull out of the whole state. Sometimes I wonder if these people know what they're doing or not. Like, they know they're just destroying everything around them.
No, they don't.
Every time it's like the Pikachu face, where they're just like, "Oh, I thought those were completely unintended and there's no way we could have foreseen these consequences." Like, I can't see how that's possible. I just don't know.
Highleaf apparently has a plan for when he goes to Chicago. He says, I'm going to Chicago. I need a light armored vehicle with a remote control 50 cal and a squad of Marines just to see the sights. Most of that stuff is actually banned in Chicago, so. Best joke to hear, Chicago gamers be like, cover me, I'm going to Walmart. Apparently, beneficiaries in New York get $537 a month for a family of 3. Life to the Max is here. Welcome, Life to the Max. Mr. Behavior. Oh my god, this fucking weirdo. Highleaf says, when I think of her, I think of getting a wood chipper. Harvey McLeod says, she's so excited about the downfall of Western civilization. Eric Bowman is here. Says, that's the teacher that got fired, right? That is correct. So I just learned a new term, I guess, says Aaron A. I don't know what that means. NB, maybe?
NB? Maybe. Yeah.
Harvey McLeod says, what does a 2-year-old have to think about sex anyway, or gender? Well, pretty much where you pee. That's about it.
Yeah.
They want to eat candy and color with crayons. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not interested in, what, like, oh, that's so fucking gross. So gross.
They want to eat candy and color with crayons, and Sully Blue says, or eat crayons and color with candy.
Hey, whatever floats your boat, man. There's only one time in your life that you can do that, and it's cute and not just like retarded. So,
Harvey McLeod says, "Why'd she get fired?" I'm pretty sure that's obvious. Mr. Behavior says he's almost positive he's met that person. Is she single?
Wait, oh, really? Oh, that's crazy.
Sully says, "God, leave the kids out of this crap, man." Sully says, "I thought your type was Dove Cameron." As she is growing older, she is looking more and more fake and more plastic, and I'm getting disinterested in her in a hurry. Like, she has had a lot of plastic surgery. And I don't know. Oh no, what happened? What did I do? Oh, I guess he's only engaged. Harvey said you got married the other day. But still, mazel tov.
Yeah, congrats, dude.
Harvey told me that he got married. Apparently, he likes half Asian girls. His fiance is Hafu. Let's see. Do we have any more questions? Chicago says Quest fanning. Chicago. Quest says NB is Latin, note bene. Quest says you don't have to date all the crazy girls. All right, and I'm going to leave it on that one. Behavior, I'm not going to read that last one out loud. But I think I know how he knows that. But regardless of that, we do have to get into the rest of the news here. So, do you have your foreign policy hat on today?
All right, let's do it.
So let's go through the timeline here. So where we last left this story was last Sunday, and Kabul had just fallen. President, House Plant in Chief, got up and made a short speech talking about this, at which point he walked away and didn't take any questions. And that's pretty much just about the point where Jessica Green and I picked this up last week. I mean, this was all still fresh in everybody's heads as we were talking about this last week. And oh boy, did this ever turn into a clusterfuck throughout the last week here. So the story to date as of this point is that the Taliban has formed a provisional government for the nation of Afghanistan. They have taken the territory. They now are in possession of large amounts of U.S. munitions, including 50 calibers, light armored vehicles, Humvees, missile launchers, drones, and all kinds of other fun toys that the government says I can't have. Fuckers. The majority of American citizens, I believe it's a minority of American citizens at this point, are still in Afghanistan, being released slowly by invitation only to the airport to be lifted out. There are some other things that we need to talk about with the logistics of how this is happening, but that's pretty much the story so far, unless you think I've left something out over the past 7 days. What have you seen on this so far?
I mean, I've seen everything everyone else has seen. I don't have any kind of special, any kind of special access to information. I just know it's an entire clusterfuck, and it's gonna take quite a bit to unfuck itself.
Yeah, I don't know if there is any unfuck left in this, to be completely honest here, because, I mean, I want to start on the munitions thing, because that was a tremendous failure of epic proportions, the fact that these munitions got left behind, and now they're going to try to come back and try and fix this after the fact. Now, it was suggested right at the beginning that we shouldn't have left the munitions behind. In fact, we should have drone struck them or even nuked them out and destroyed them all, flatten the fucking things, drop the MOAB on them right away as soon as we got out of there, which right away as soon as we got out of there, I actually think that would have been a good idea. The problem that I have with this now, and we'll look at the image, the Iwo Jima thing, because I think that was fucking sickening. The problem I have with this now is the fact that the munitions are there, and now they're in the hands of people who would like to retaliate against you if you kill one of theirs. See, destroying them as we were pulling out would have been expensive and taxpayer funded and a lot of loss of taxpayer funding. But it wouldn't have been a major diplomatic crisis. If you try to do that now, it's a diplomatic crisis.
Right.
Do you disagree or agree on that?
I mean, I agree with that. I do want to, and I really don't want to, but I have to come to, I don't know if it's Joe Biden's defense. I don't think he's the one who made that decision to leave it there. I guess the top military brass that's around. Because one, it is a very common thing that when America leaves a war zone, we just leave our munitions behind because it's much cheaper just to purchase new stuff than it is to bring the old stuff back. So that is something that's very common that we've done since the Cold War. Like we've done all over the place. That's nothing new at all. And then it was supposed to be, it was left behind mostly because it was expected that the Afghan government that we had propped up were supposed to use that to fight back when really they just kind of defected. And that's how a lot of the munitions fell into Taliban hands, was just because they abandoned it or defected. So now, of course, if you didn't see that coming, I mean, I don't know. That's kind of, if you actually expected them to fight without your support, I mean, that's a failure of communication there. It's like, that's a lack of understanding, like the political situation there.
Yeah, and I pointed that out. I've actually done the same bit every morning on Contemporary since all this happened, because the news cycle that I get on Contemporary has made it relevant every day. Because I remember seeing how quickly the map turned from blue to red as Afghanistan occupied more territories as they worked their way towards Kabul. And, it doesn't seem like there was a lot of, they keep saying the violent takeover of Afghanistan. I don't see a lot of violent takeover from that.
Yeah, there wasn't really much violence.
I see a lot of, Mr. Taliban going up to the leader of whatever province he's in. Hey, the U.S. or our government sucks. They support the U.S. and the U.S. won't pull out. You want to join the Taliban? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey, cool. You want to go golfing later? Cool.
Yeah.
That's how I envisioned what happened in Afghanistan.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, let's go. We'll fucking barbecue and shit. Come on, man. Fry up some goat.
Or bumper cars.
Yeah, bumper cars, yeah.
Now, I'm sure with whatever submachine guns they were carrying strapped across their chest, even if the government officials of the provinces didn't roll over right away. I haven't seen the entire movie The Godfather. I've gotten about an hour into it, but an hour is far enough to know what an offer you can't refuse is.
Yeah,
and it does seem like there's an extent of an offer you can't refuse to that. Now, as I mentioned, with the munitions that were left behind, the Taliban went ahead and transmitted this image back out there as a way to demoralize, I think, the American people. I'm pretty sure that was the entire intent behind that. Raising the American flag, just as the Iwo Jima flag was raised from World War II. It was 2, right? Not 1?
2.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It was 2. It was the sequel, yeah. Although it's one of the few times the sequel was better than the original.
That's fair.
The original was kind of boring, kind of dragged on for a long time. Not a lot was going on. It's more the setup for the story of the second one, Yeah. little history joke there.
But I mean, and I'm glad that you were actually here for this. I know it was kind of last minute, but I'm glad you were here for this week because you do have a fair amount of military history lore under your belt. You do understand a lot of history repeating itself and what we've done in situations before this. So you can explain things to me that I don't know.
Well, I will preface that with saying that my knowledge after the American Civil War starts to drop off pretty dramatically. So, there might be some holes or something that I miss along the way, but I will do my best. But yeah, anything American Civil War previous, that is absolutely 100% true. Yeah.
So now Biden has got up and made a couple press conferences. Him and the red-haired bobblehead have both been out there trying to get in front of this story on numerous occasions, and even the mustache got in here. So I don't have any video for this because they didn't take it, but I do have audio for it. Let's listen to what John Bolton had to say about this situation on NPR this week.
What kind of scenario was former President Trump striving for?
Well, I don't think he thought coherently about it, and I think if he had been reelected, he would have done essentially the same thing Biden did. Mike Pompeo, who joins in the responsibility for this policy, has tried to distinguish it. But in fact, Trump wanted out. He was going to get out. He didn't care whether the conditions that were included in the peace deal were met. Had he been reelected, I think he would have done the same thing Biden did.
What kind of scenario?
And then replays off of that because it was only a 30-second clip. But I know that was the first direct, and even when Jessica and I were talking about this on Monday, that was the mode they were already in. Blame Trump, blame Trump, blame Trump.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Blame Trump.
And I don't think it took with the American people.
Well, no, because one, like, if you already hated Trump, then okay, you're not. What are you going to hate him more? Like, no, right? Like, you're not going to hate him more. And most people are like, well, no, the blame falls, like, anyone who's rational would think, okay, no, the blame falls with the person who, is overseeing the project at the moment, whatever that project might be. Not only that, but Biden himself took responsibility for it. You know what I mean? Like, he himself specifically said the responsibility, buck stops with me, right?
We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, he tried to do that.
So that's what I'm saying,
as well.
You can't even. Right, so that was one thing that he's done so far that maybe have like some small, teeny bitty, microscopic iota of respect for him, was that whether he meant to or not, he took responsibility for it. Whether he was coherent enough to know, or at least lucid enough to know that he was doing that, he did it.
An Oklahoma mother.
Shut up, you. No, nobody likes you, Fox News Autoplay. Why do you keep playing like that? Interestingly enough, General Milley got in on the action for this, which I knew who the guy was, but I didn't know who the guy was. But he also decided he needed to make a speech indicating that there was no intelligence that led to the belief that the Afghan army and the government could do this in 11 days. Let's listen to what General Milley had to say.
Previously said from this podium and in sworn testimony before Congress that the intelligence clearly indicated multiple scenarios were possible. One of those was an outright Taliban takeover following a rapid collapse of the Afghan security forces and the government. Another was a civil war, and a third was a negotiated settlement. However, the time frame of a rapid collapse, that was widely estimated and ranged from weeks to months and even years following our departure. There was nothing that I or anyone else saw that indicated a collapse of this army and this government in 11 days. Central Command submitted a variety of plans that were briefed and approved by the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the Secretary of Defense, and the President. These plans are coordinated, synchronized, and rehearsed to deal with these various scenarios. One of those contingencies is what we are executing right now. As I said before, there's plenty of time to do AA.
So, given the fact that this guy has enough military experience that he has 4 pretty little stars on each one of his shoulders, and he didn't know that this was coming, whereas pretty much anybody with a YouTube channel or who's ever turned on YouTube knew that this was coming. I didn't think maybe 11... I thought 11 days was a little bit quick, but I knew it was coming.
Yeah,
Makes
of
me
course.
question our military brass, maybe just a little bit.
Well, the problem is all that the brass polish that they use is highly toxic. So you spend all that brass to polish, and it just is fucked in the head. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, very shiny brass though.
And he's got to get to the bottom of all that white rage.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, I'm just joking. Obviously, some like low, second lieutenant does his brass. He doesn't shut his own brass top. But either way, yeah, exactly. He was too busy focusing on his white rage, and he just couldn't plan for this. Obviously, as you were saying.
Should we listen to Saki for a second? So one of the big deals of this entire week was how much of a commitment there was to get the majority, if not all, of the American citizens out. And that's, I think, part of the reason where the mainstream media is starting to turn on the Biden admin is because they got friends over there. They got family over there. They got people over there. And, I mean, she has come out and said there's no guarantee that we're going to get all the people out. Let's listen to what she has to say here.
But can you offer any guarantee to the Americans and Afghan allies that if they remain there past the end of the month, U.S. troops will help them evacuate past the end of the month?
Leisha, our focus right now is on doing the work at hand and on the task at hand. And that is day by day, getting as many American citizens, as many SIV applicants, as many members of a vulnerable population who are eligible to be evacuated to the airport and out on planes. And we're going to do that in an expeditious fashion. That is the focus of the President, of our Secretary of Defense, of our Secretary of State, and everybody on our national security team. So that is where we will keep our effort.
You have thoughts on what she had to say there? No. Other than the fact that it was a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Like what are you even saying? I don't. It's just like, oh my god. I don't know if I can add. I don't know if I can do this anymore. Like, oh my god, just this nonsense, just over and over, like all the time. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, then that's been.
As, Questions likes to quote that I say. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it's interesting to look at some of this here and, actually kind of think of, because for me, as a former StarCraft player before Blizzard went down their path of fucking darkness.
Great game.
I just have to wonder what the logistics of it. Now, as of right now, the U.S. is calling up commercial airlines for, I believe it is the CRAV, Civilian Rescue Aviation. I can't remember what the V is. I'd have to go look that back up again. But they're calling on airlines to send people over there, not to the Kabul airport itself, but to various other airports around the area, or even some makeshift airfields. And I don't know if they're actually doing this within the country borders of Afghanistan, or if they're going to like allies around in Pakistan. Well, I don't really know how many allies we actually have around in that area at this point anymore, because if I remember my geography correctly, without opening up a map, Afghanistan touches Persia, Pakistan, and China.
I mean, no. It doesn't touch China, does it? No.
Yes, it does.
Does it?
Yeah.
All right, now I got to see this.
Yeah, we're both going to pull up the map here.
Yeah, because I don't remember that being the case.
You're making Elaine's point here, by the way. If you support the war, point to the country that you want to go invade.
Oh, well, I don't support the war, so it's all good. I don't know shit. Yeah,
yes.
It doesn't. Oh, maybe it's like this tiny little sliver. Okay, yeah, this tiny sliver might just kind of like this little like.
It does depend on. It depends on, because it looks like there's some contested borders with Pakistan and China. So it depends on which border that you use.
It's like this itty bitty, teeny tiny little border. This little border that could. Is China.
But yeah, it's Iran, Pakistan, Turkmenistan, and Tajikistan are all touching that, which I don't know foreign policy how we are with Turkmenistan and Tajikistan.
Yeah.
Or Tajikistan, or whatever, however the hell you pronounce it. Some random stand country that used to be behind the Iron Curtain.
And Uzbekistan as well. It touches Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan,
yeah, it does.
Pakistan. Yeah.
Yeah, if you zoom out, you can see the border a little bit clearer.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're going directly.
If I'm not mistaken, they go into like Kuwait and other such. I didn't realize Armenia had touched Iran. God, I'm fucking retarded when it comes to geography now. I used to be really good.
Once again, proving the point.
Well, hey, I'm not pro-war, so the only map I need is America. All right.
You've seen that tweet going around. It shows the Middle East with no names on it.
Oh, right.
If you want to invade the country, point at the country you want to invade.
Yep. Luckily, I don't want to invade any countries. Yeah, I forget.
But I mean, going back to the task
at Turkey was one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, going back to the task at hand, because I and that's the other thing is border checkpoints. Can these people get in and out of the borders? So I don't know how this operation is going to work. I know that it would take a pilot with a pair of steel ones to take a commercial jet into Afghanistan itself. But I remember some of the evacuation missions from StarCraft 2 or even StarCraft 1, and how easy it was for somebody to slip in there and start throwing rockets up at your dropships.
Yeah, but my little 12-year-old ass could do it. If I can do it, I mean, come on, guys. My little 12-year-old retarded ass can do it. You can. I mean, come on, figure it out, guys. I'm joking, obviously. It's a little more complicated.
Well, and as we mentioned before too, a lot of the whole thing was the blame game going against Trump. Like this other clip from the red-haired bobblehead. Let's have a listen to what she had to say.
Just to follow up on this, obviously getting them through and getting them to the airport is the challenge, as everyone else here has noted. But the administration is left to negotiate with the Taliban, including one of the commandos who was released from Guantanamo Bay as part of the Bo Bergdahl prisoner swap when President Biden was vice president. How does he feel about that? Does he have any regrets, and how's he digesting that?
Well, first I would note that, one, I'd point to the Department of the intelligence community to assess the identity of the individual. I know there's been reporting on it, but that's not my position to do from here. I would also note that in prior negotiations and commitments made during the Trump administration, there were thousands of individuals who were released. So our focus right now is on, again, not taking the Taliban's word for it. We are assessing, we are closely watching, and we are being very clear about the capacities and the capabilities we have at hand should they be needed. Of course, that's not our objective.
Your thoughts?
So once again, like, obviously blaming Trump, but like the thing is, like, wouldn't Trump, like, he wanted to be out, what was it, in May? He had set up for them to be out, and they
May 1st.
And they broke the treaty with the Taliban.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens when you break a treaty in an honor culture? Like, they have a heavy, like, they're really big on honor over there, as in, like, keeping your word, and you fail to do that. Do you not think that that's going to piss them off, like, just a little bit, perhaps?
Well, that's
that's
what I was saying with
next time.
That's what I was saying with the beginning of this too. Was okay, we're sitting at this point. And you've already broken one treaty off of this, and now these people can go up there and, like I said with a bit, hey, the government sucks. They support the U.S. You want to join the Taliban? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because they can get away with that. Now, if they'd have stuck with the original deal, I have no doubt that the Taliban would have ripped across Afghanistan just the same, but it would have probably been a lot slower, a lot more violent, a lot more bloody.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have the propaganda at hand.
Means that there would at least be a chance of resistance. Like, people would say, right. Yeah. Not only that, but their memes wouldn't be as good. Their memes are good. I gotta give it to them, man. They can meme.
Our friend Steven has turned his entire Instagram into an Afghanistan meme page.
There's some really spicy ones out there, man. There's some really good ones.
Well, we couldn't talk about this without listening to the houseplant chief himself. And he had a very, very combative reporter against Democrats in George Stephanopoulos. I say that with the utmost of sarcasm. On ABC News, and this was right before he gave his big speech, so let's have a listen to what he actually had to say. Or maybe it just won't play for me. On-air production. Isn't it wonderful?
All right, I'll get the duct tape.
I need some at this point. Let me refresh this here and see if we can pop some of this up. There it goes. Now it's playing.
Last week, was it a failure? When you look at what's happened over the last week, was it a failure of intelligence, planning, execution, or judgment?
Well, with Biden involved, I can safely say that there was a failure of intelligence there.
Look, I don't think it was a failure. Look, it was a simple choice, George. When the Taliban, let me put it another way. When you had the government of Afghanistan, the leader of that government getting in a plane and taking off and going to another country, when you saw the significant collapse of the Afghan troops we had trained, up to 300,000 of them, just leaving their equipment and taking off, that was, that's what happened. That's simply what happened.
But we've all seen the pictures. We've seen those hundreds of people packed into a C-17. We've seen Afghans falling.
That was 4 days ago, 5 days ago.
What did you think when you first saw those pictures?
What I thought was we have to gain control of this. We have to move this more quickly. We have to move in a way in which we can take control of that airport. And we did.
So you don't think this could have been handled, this actually could have been handled better in any way? No mistakes?
No, I don't think it could have been handled in a way that we're going to go back in hindsight and look, but the idea that somehow there's a way to have gotten out without chaos ensuing, I don't know how that happens. I don't know how that happened.
So for you, that was always priced into the decision?
Yes.
Now, if anybody ever wants to read this entirely, I put the Daily Wire link in the Discord because this was a 90-minute interview, and they cut it down for the Twitter feed for a minute and a half, but it was like 10 minutes on ABC News, and they cut a lot of damning stuff out of it.
Of course.
So that's one place where you can go and see and just exactly what it was that Biden had to say. But I mean, just even from this, does this look like a guy that's in control?
No, I mean, he looks like he's a guy who, like, they ushered him out there. They're like, all right, you got to go do damage control. And he's like, wait, for what? And they're like, oh, shit. Yeah.
We got to do a little bit.
Too much about what's going on. Sorry, go ahead.
We got to do a little bit of white pilling off of this, though. I mean, it's white pilling to me that the media is turning on Biden, but I've got this story from Fox News that I wanted to touch on with you a little bit for white pilling purposes off of this entire situation. And actually, everybody who's watching on the screen already got a tease of it because I accidentally left it up when we closed up the tweet. But this one here, Oklahoma mom of 11 rescues members of Afghan all-girls robotics team. An Oklahoma mother of 11 flew to Qatar earlier this month to help rescue 10 members of Afghanistan's all-girls robotics teams and is hoping to save more as the Taliban takes power in Kabul. Ellison Renew, a 60-year-old Harvard grad with a master's in international relations and U.S. space policy, took it upon herself to try to save members of the Afghan girls robotics team, according to NBC. She flew into Qatar on August 9th after making a Hail Mary call to a former roommate at the U.S. Embassy, there to help get the girls from the advancing Taliban, known for their oppressive treatment of women. Renew had been in contact with the team, made of girls aged 16 to 18, since 2019, when she worked on the board of directors for Explore Mars, and met the girls when they attended the organization's annual Humans to Mars conference. The team was hailed in Western media as the future of the war-ravaged country, as well as a shining example of how women's rights had improved after the U.S. invaded following 9/11.
How's that working out for you?
Well, private charity does way better than the government ever could, and I do like that.
Crazy.
Rather than going through having to call the Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, in all of his Anthony Blinkeny fucking glory, and going over there, arranging this and having a safe place. She actually went to the Middle East physically and said, okay, this is how we're doing this.
She's like, I'll take that one and I'll take that one. 2 of those. So, yeah. No, I mean, obviously it was intentional.
Yeah.
Unintentional
because...
Like, you. I just like the idea of that, just picking one. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, I mean, what are there, like, what did she say? She got, like, 4 or 5 of them right away, just because that's who they could get out of the country, but... 10 girls, rather. It was 10 girls the first time through. They're working on getting 25 more girls, and she's already got 11 kids at home. I mean, yeah, she's 60, and a lot of them are probably grown up at this point, but, I mean, at 60 years old, she's got some still at home. I'm telling you that right now.
Yeah.
The math doesn't work, especially if she's got a master's from Harvard.
Yeah.
She didn't start till she was almost 30.
Right. Yeah. Some late term stuff going on there.
But regardless, yeah, what the private sector does better than the government does, and I think that's a little bit of a white pill for you, that people are actually stepping up to do this, where the government has failed, and the government has failed at this point. I can't put this in any other way. You can have a kinder way to put that, let me know, because I can't think of another way to say this. The government has failed.
Yeah, of course, government, that's like the story of all government. That's what it does. It fails until it can't anymore. And then it gets replaced by a new government who then fails until it can't anymore. That's the nature of power, the nature of government. I mean, name a government that hasn't failed. There you
and
go.
one more I want to talk with you about here, because you remember how, America was back when we went to was it G5 over the past summer here? America was back.
Was it G5 now? We kicked everyone out? Wasn't it like G8 and G7 because Russia got kicked out? And then what happened to the other 2?
I know that G7 is coming up, but there was a more closely knit I think it was 5. It might have been 4 over the past summer here. And, Jill had to come up and walk Biden away from getting lost in the middle of the crowd.
I remember, well, yeah, because someone challenged him in some way, and he was turning around what? And she's like, no, come on.
But I remember how the media praised it and said, diplomacy is back, America's back, and we're not an embarrassment on the world stage anymore.
Yeah, the adults are in charge again.
Well, that might not be the fact anymore. Reading from Reuters, UK lawmakers condemn PM Johnson and US President Biden over Afghanistan. British lawmakers vented their anger on Wednesday at Prime Minister Boris Johnson and U.S. President Biden over the collapse of Afghanistan into Taliban hands, calling it a failure of intelligence, which there's those words surrounding Biden again, leadership, and moral duty. Speaking at an emergency session of Parliament recalled from its summer break to discuss Afghanistan, Johnson and the Taliban would be judged on their actions, not their words, after they sought to convince the world they would not seek revenge. But barely a minute into his opening address, Johnson faced a critical interruption from a member of his own Conservative Party, setting the tone for what would be a skeptically received speech about how Britain wanted to be at the heart of an international coalition, holding the Taliban to account. We will judge this regime based on the choices it makes and by its actions rather than its words, on its attitudes on terrorism, to crime and narcotics, as well as humanitarian access and the rights of the girls to receive an education, Johnson said. Yeah, and he got ripped up the fucking down. Yeah. Well, America's back.
A bunch of tea jockeys. Yeah, we're back.
America's back. The adults are in charge again.
Yeah. I mean, just I just don't. Oh my god, just the energy it takes to like to, I guess, to care about this. I don't know. Who cares what a bunch of British lawmakers say? Even like two other Brits. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's anti-Biden, so that's cool. But like, it's also, I mean, it's not like the British are any goddamn better. Who the fuck are they? Like, their shit sucks too. I don't know. Like,
they
their
seem to be
country
doing
sucks.
better with their evacuation. England and
Maybe.
France.
They probably had less.
Seem to be doing.
They had less people there, I'm sure.
They've got less
They had
people.
less of a stake. Like, they don't have
Now-
as many bases and stuff to pull out and people, and they're not taking every single Afghan with them that they can. Every Afghan and goat that they can take, they're not. They're just leaving. It's like, no.
Well,
Yeah.
that's one of the other aspects of the logistics of it too. Is they don't have a gigantic fucking ocean to deal with.
Yeah, it's got the channel.
So
There's plenty
that's
of,
what I have.
There's plenty of friendly places to land too along the way, which is nice.
That's what I have on Afghanistan here. If you don't, do you have anything else you want to touch on before we get out of here?
Absolutely not. I would love to not talk about Afghanistan for a bit.
All right, we're gonna do some live chat here for a second.
Yeah, for sure.
We're gonna power through some of this here. We can't get to everything, unfortunately, so I'm gonna grab some of the
So
some of the
if your comment
highlights.
sucks, we will not be responding to it. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Behavior says no, she's polyamorous. Well,
that makes sense.
She bangs women and men. There's
Talking
a
about the
TikTok of
preschool
her with
teacher, I
three
imagine?
simps. Yeah, the preschool teacher.
Yeah, there's a TikTok of her with 3 Sims.
Apparently.
Oh my god, that's not how polyamory is supposed to work. It's supposed to be one dude, a bunch of chicks, because he can get one of them pregnant at a time, whereas like the chick can only be pregnant once. So like, why have a bunch of dudes around? That's not how procreation works.
Okay, Rami.
Just saying, Mormons had the better version of polyamory. I'll say. At least theirs made sense.
Apparently, behavior
one be making a sandwich and doing the laundry. It's just it just works out better that way.
Apparently, behavior missed us because he says this is hilarious.
Oh, yeah, he wasn't talking to us, obviously.
Banning says Taliban mockingly recreated the Iwo Jima flag raising.
Yep.
Ben Wild
Again,
says Fist
meme
of
game
Two
on
Iron.
point.
Fist of Two Iron Maiden represent 666.
Yeah, you like the my Eddie shirt? It's got Eddie
Oh, I
on
didn't
it.
even realize that.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, you can't see it underneath. Yeah, it's got Eddie with the Trooper album cover, I believe. It might be.
I got a
might be
Chili
being
Pepper shirt
basic.
on, so
Yeah, I own that shirt as well. Actually, that same exact shirt.
hopefully yours fits you better than mine fits mine because I was a little bit ambitious on my diet when I bought this one.
Aw. Yeah. Well, mine only fits me because it's bigger. So.
Ron Helton says they taught us in officer school to use thermite on the engine blocks. They can still scrap the equipment for the metal. They just can't use it as a weapon
Yeah.
system.
Yeah, I mean, and that's always the obviously the goal. Back in the day, if I can take a quick aside, then you had like cannon and stuff around, especially when you set up like a artillery line. If they were being overrun, the thing that you would have to do is try and spike the gun, which is where you just stick a metal rod down the ignition hole so that they can't be used against you.
Okay.
Just pretty much disables the gun. But of course, there's not always time to do that. There's not always, sometimes you just get fucked up and you get caught unawares or whatever. There's no reason why that couldn't have happened in Afghanistan as well. Especially because they thought they had, what was it, like the original thing was like 90 days or something, or 70 days or something like that until they got overrun and ended up being 2. Like, I mean, I get it. They were kind of blindsided, whether it was a failure or not, they still were blindsided. I get it. Shit happens. Like, what are you going to do?
Ben Wild says none of this would have happened if we would have built water parks and Hooters in Kabul. Blind Fear is here.
They just wanted to have fun.
Harvey McLeod says, I think this 100% has to do with the fact they knew Biden is a weak leader. Come on, man. Sully says, I have no doubt this would have happened no matter what, but I do think it would have held off until next cycle had Trump won a second term.
For sure. Well, because Trump's a stronger leader, whether you like him or not. Like, dictators around the world were scared of him and respected him. Like, sorry, that's just the truth of it.
Harvey McLeod says the way the media treat her against the Kaylee is unbelievable. Ron Hilton says sock puppet Psaki has said nothing of value. That's not the that's not the headline. That's the name of the magazine.
Right. I was just saying, yeah. What is this news? I don't. I mean, well, let me know when she circles back.
Sully says Afghan used to be a big ground to take because it was a big trade route way back from China to the Middle East and Europe.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't part of the Silk Road run through Afghanistan?
I thought that was just online.
So. No, well, it's a different thing. Same idea, though, generally.
Let's see, what else do we have here? Sully says, I tried to get into the contractor life after I finished my contract with the Marines. I just wanted a beard and full gear. Is that so hard?
Dude, hell yeah.
McConnell Smuggles Coke is here with the Pepe washing his hands sticker.
Well, wonder... it did, yeah. Silk Road did go through Afghanistan. Vindication. Sorry.
Let's see. Sully says, what do you expect when Europe drew the lines to make countries with multiple tribes that hate each other? The West, i.e. Europe, fucked the Middle East as soon as they touched it.
Yeah, they did the same thing with Yugoslavia, trying to make all these ethnic groups that hate each other. Like, just because they're Slavs doesn't mean that they don't know the difference between each other, you know?
Yeah.
Eastern Europeans hate each other, too. Like, and now they got, rip that whole area apart. Oh, my God.
I think McLeod is having some foreshadowing here, as McLeod is about to grace the world with a child of her own. Mother of 11, Lord help her pelvis.
Yeah.
McConnell Smuggles Coke, only LARPs IRL. I have been LARPing before.
Have you actually?
Yes, I have. It's not as cringe as you think, but it's more cringe than I initially thought it was going to be. It's kind of middle cringe.
Middle cringe, interesting.
Yes.
Because, okay, so hang on, because I am an avid, like, tabletop RPG player, so like D&D, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously I don't think that's cringe. I know that there is a level of cringe to it. So do you think that LARPing is more or less cringe than that? Because I would say that it's more, because LARPing is definitely, I would say LARPing is more cringe, because you're actually like physically doing role-playing things, right?
I think that would raise the level of cringe, but I have not experienced tabletop directly. I've experienced it indirectly, so I have nothing to compare it to.
Yeah, because that's the same thing with LARPing with me. I've never experienced it myself, but I've known people who do, and they were cringe as fuck. So, yeah, I don't know. Interesting. Next time we meet up, we should LARP and live stream our LARP.
Let's see. Highleaf says the girls in Afghan will receive education by how to be a good wife.
There you go. It's important.
Ron, my comments are too spicy. Sully says Hooters actually originated in Florida. Fun fact. Nephilim Ninja's here. It says, yeah, apparently. Nephilim Ninja's here. It says can't burn down a lazy river. Let's see. I think we're going to circle back for the rest of this here, but we got to talk about this Capitol bombing thing that came and went, and we're going to power through these last couple topics here, and hit the live chat at the end. But I want to talk about this for a second because this was the one that time forgot. So on Wednesday this week, a call came out that there was it Wednesday or Thursday? Actually, I don't remember now. Might have been Thursday. That's how long this week took. It was Thursday, I'm sorry. So on Thursday, a North Carolina man drove to the Capitol and parked outside of the Library of Congress with a truck in which he proclaimed that he had a bomb in his lap and several pounds of gunpowder and tannerite in the toolbox of his truck. It was a 5-hour standoff with police throughout the day, and on his way from North Carolina to Washington, D.C., he did some live streaming talking about what it was that he was going to do, and we are going to watch some of this. Standoff was done. He was taken in peacefully, but the interesting part of the story is that almost immediately as soon as it happened, the internet, and even some people, some of the leftoids on the internet came out and said, this seems a little bit too convenient. This seems pretty fucking fake. And most people have pointed out the fact... Go ahead.
Oh, if I might real quick, to give credit where credit is due, leftists, like actual real hardcore leftists, are very distrustful of the government as well. Mm-hmm. There is actually a lot of overlap when it comes to like anarcho-communists and anarcho-capitalists and their ilk. Like there's a lot of overlap in belief. And one of those is that the CIA is fucking horrible. And that they're treasonous, they're absolutely just the worst, and that they will do things to get more control over the population. So that is something to believe that both sides hold, at least the super far left and the based in Chad and Caps hold.
But I mean, going in on this now, I think most people at this point realized that this was probably a setup at some point. Now, this man has apparently been charged, according to news sources, with having a bomb threat. His claims were that he had the bomb in his lap. He made statements about the fact that he wanted health care for everybody. He was down with the LGBTQ alliance, but he wanted to have a meeting with Biden. And he didn't want to kill anybody while he was there. He also made claims that there were bombs in 5 cars, and if he was shot through the windshield, the one in his truck would go off, and the other 5 around the area would go off. No confirmation of additional explosive devices have been found around the D.C. area. This guy was a Fed.
Yeah, for sure. And so, like we're going to see in a few minutes, I want, whenever we watch any of the videos, I want everyone to listen to the accent. That's extremely telling.
That's actually what I wanted to start with here was the accent, and if you'll let me, let's actually have a listen to what this guy has to say. And let's just listen to what he has to say. I don't want to say anything more off of this.
I'm gonna poison the well, yeah.
If you blow my truck up, man, hey, it's on you, Joe. I'm ready to die for the cause. And brother, you said if you could do anything to save one life, you said you'd do it. Well, you got a chance. I want to go home Sunday. I want to go home and see my wife. We're living in a free country, Joe. Choice yours. If you want to shoot me and take the chance of blowing up 2.5 city blocks, because that toolbox full. Ammonium nitrate, it's full. I don't want to die, Joe. I want to go home.
My mom always said the stupid is, the stupid does. That's what I thought of when I heard that accent.
So the thing is, I detect about 3 different Southern accents in there. There's a kind of a West Texan, like kind of king of the hill, kind of accent in there.
Yeah, at some of the points during this, I thought Boomhauer.
Yes, he has that exact accent pretty much. Then there's some like South Carolina, like some like kind of more like refined uh South Carolina kind of accent in there, and there was some Alabama thrown in there, as in like the way that he kind of like just lets the words kind of spill out of his mouth, as opposed to like enunciating better, which he does sometimes. So like his accent is really really inconsistent. Like anyone who's grown up in the South will know. Like there's completely different accents. You can tell where someone's from, what state they're from, just by the accent. And I got like 3 different states from this dude.
I got Forrest Gump.
Yeah,
which is one of the 5 movies I've ever seen in my life.
I was gonna say, isn't that Alabama?
Yes.
Yeah, that was one of the 3 that I mentioned. Like, yeah, he's Alabama. And like, it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, dude, it sounds like he's putting this accent on. Maybe he's already got like a slight accent to begin with. I don't know, but it really does seem. And of course, we can't check, right? You can't like look at his Facebook profile that he streamed it all to. It's gone, right? So it's like there's no way to, you know. I would love to just look into the guy and be like, okay, no, he's completely legit. He's been talking about this for like 3 years or whatever, you know. But no, there's nothing there now. There's no way to verify.
I've got another clip here of something else that he had to say that, you know, you would totally hear from a mega Trumper and a Christian guy here. Let's listen to this. Richard Hanania says, the Capitol bomber wants you to know he's very anti-racist and down with the LGBT, even though he doesn't like the Afghan withdrawal. Let's listen.
Let them come. Black, white, lesbian, gay, LGBT. It don't matter. We're Americans.
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter. We're Americans.
Yeah. Doesn't sound like that kind of. I don't know. Just his accent really bothers me. He can't pick a lane. Like he really can't pick a lane. Like there's like subtleties and like the way that things are pronounced and stuff. Like the words that you use. Like he ain't said "fix it" one time. Like, you know, yeah, he's not like, oh, I'm fixing to blow this whole. I would be like, all right, he's in. But no, no. Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's got this message of what now it's like inclusivity or whatever. So, like, what was his point in that one? I mean,
I don't know. This is
so that they can't be like, oh, he's a racist, misogynistic, transphobe or some shit. I don't know. Like, why bring that up?
Yeah, it just seems completely out of character for this. But yeah, I was most impressed by how quickly the internet dismissed this one.
Yeah, it was quick too. I saw it was like trending really fast, like shortly after.
They shut down the hashtag bomb threat trend. Like I tried to actually use that trend and it wouldn't auto-populate for me. They shut that shit down hard. But they kept MAGA terrorist up there throughout the rest of the day. It's kind of like they wanted to lead you into a belief. But Twitter would never do that, would they?
Never. The government is absolutely trustworthy and has all of our best interests at heart.
And it's the thing that really bothered most people, I think, it wasn't the accent for most people. I think that's just a Southern thing for you. But the thing that seemed to bother most people was the timing. Because
the timing, yeah, of course.
Come late Wednesday, this whole Afghanistan thing had fallen out of Biden's hand and they couldn't Orange Man bat it anymore. People started to realize that was a bunch of fucking shit too. And then this guy suddenly has a bomb threat. And honestly, the FBI came out and said, we have found no evidence of any explosive device in this vehicle. If they'd had a better actor and the American people would have bought the shit, I guarantee you that truck would have blown up.
Well, didn't he at one point say, it's like, y'all know how this works. Y'all made it. Like, or y'all friends made it or something like that. Like, as if to suggest that the FBI had made the bomb for him or something.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure I saw that somewhere. I could be making that up. I know I'm not making that up. Someone could have lied. I don't know, but I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah. So I don't think necessarily like he's an actor. Like, I don't know. The accent really bothers me. Like, that's the only thing that would have me suggesting that it would be an actor, because I'm not normally like that. I'm not normally the, like, I mean, I'll believe that, like, yeah, the FBI will, like, set people up to do shit, but they wouldn't hire someone, you know what I mean? Like, there's a difference, because that's provable, like, that the FBI would do that. But, like, to have an actual actor, but, like, that accent is really, really bothering me.
There's one
maybe
other
Ron
thing.
Hilton's right that he's brain damaged. That could be the case. I mean, maybe that's why his accent's fucked up. I don't know.
There was one other thing that bothered me about this story, because they tried to make the case that his wife was dying of cancer, and he was doing this partially because North Carolina rejected the Medicaid expansion for Obamacare, and he didn't qualify for it, or they couldn't get it, and he was below the poverty line. But I looked a little bit deeper into this entire thing. So I have up on the screen a picture of the truck that he drove from North Carolina to Washington, D.C. That is a 2016 Chevrolet Silverado with a lift kit. I don't know what weight rating it is. Looks like the weight side has been scrubbed off it, so I don't know if it's a 3/4 ton or a half ton. It looks like it's actually probably a half ton just based on the springs off of it, but it is lifted with $2,000 worth of American Racing rims and probably another $1,000 worth of tires off of it. That's a $22,000 truck.
Would it be like a $22,000 truck now? Because
yes.
The current car that I have is a 2016 as well.
Mm-hmm.
I got that for like 12.
That is a $22,000 truck now. If you got the equivalent in brand new in 2021, that's an $80,000 truck, because it looks, just looking from the interior of it, when we saw his live stream, he's got the full he's got leather seats, he's got the full entertainment system. That was brand new, an $80,000 truck. I guarantee it.
See, you would know more about trucks than I would, I guess, but
that guy's not below the poverty line.
It's not that impressive a truck. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, although to be fair, he's got the aesthetic though, with the mud on the side. Like, that's a big thing in the South, is keeping your truck as dirty as possible. Mm-hmm. Like, that's actually like a legit, like, that's part of certain redneck culture. If you go mudding all the time, you keep your truck as dirty as possible. You never wash it. You don't like vacuum it on the inside, like nothing. You like, maybe you'll take the trash out of it, but you're not gonna like clean it up. It's just part of like the aesthetic of your truck. It doesn't make any sense to me, but that is a thing that happens. So he's got that part right there. But if it's as expensive as you say it is, though, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I mean,
and I'm looking at this a little bit closer right now. Clean. I'm looking at this a little bit closer right now, and I'm realizing that he's got tow mirrors on there, which you can buy those aftermarket for half ton. But if he's got tow mirrors, there's likely a chance that it's a 3/4 ton on top of that too, which bumps the value from $20,000 up to like $40,000 to $50,000. That guy's not below the poverty line, so that's the other story that they came out to try to tell you.
Well, I mean, he might be below the poverty line because he's making all these huge payments on this truck. I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
It doesn't work that way. I know people that have tried that methodology before when they've tried to get money from the state for things. So that is what we saw from that, and I mean, there's nothing more to go into with that. That guy was a glowing fat. Everybody fucking knows it. It's not like it's even hard. I want to touch briefly on the 1/6 riot, because I've got an article on that. Basically, not so much that there's much to discuss about this, mostly based on because I want to spin around in my chair and say, fuck you, I was right. So, from Reuters, exclusive, FBI finds scant evidence U.S. Capitol attack was coordinated via, and Reuters cites unnamed sources, but, I mean, regardless, if they actually didn't have sources for this, they would not have printed this. This is Reuters we're talking about. Extreme left-wing financial rag Reuters. The FBI has found scant evidence that the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol was the result of an organized plot to overturn the presidential election result, according to 4 current and former law enforcement officials. Though federal officials have arrested more than 570 alleged participants, the FBI at this point believes that the violence was not centrally coordinated by far-right groups or prominent supporters of then-President Trump. According to the sources who have been either directly or involved or in briefed regularly on the wide-ranging investigations. And what did I say immediately after this happened? I looked at this. I talked to you about this because one of our best friends was in the middle of this bullshit. What did I say? This looks a lot more like a couple of charismatic people at the front busted down the door and Monkey See fucking Monkey Do took over. And hey, cool, we can go on the Capitol too.
Yeah, exactly. Mob mentality. Everyone else is doing it. We're going to do it too. Some people probably got pushed in, right? From the people behind them. Just like, oh, let's go. And I was like, oh, shit, I guess we're going. You know, how many people did that happen to?
If I remember that from the live stream, that's actually how Steven got in there.
Probably.
Once he got swept up in it. But then he tried to stand off the corner and be the last one to leave, but...
Right. So, I mean, whatever. I mean, I don't know. I didn't watch the whole thing, but yeah. Yeah, it's pretty... but that's what I'm saying is, like, to even suggest that this was some kind of, like, coordinated thing, it was absurd on the face of it from the beginning. I mean, just watching it, you know that's not what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so, like, this whole narrative of, like, oh, Trump caused this or whatever, it's absolutely absurd.
And I notice he hasn't been let back on Twitter either.
No, of course not.
I mean, that was the basis for him getting kicked off, was the fact that he coordinated this massive insurrectionist attack on the U.S. government, and he was a dangerous threat to the Americans because of it. That was the allegation that got him kicked off Twitter. To quote a long-haired man in aviators with knuckle gloves, "Fuck you, I was right."
Yeah, I mean, of course, no sane person thinks that January 6th was like some kind of modern 9/11. Like, no one, you know what I mean? Like, no one actually thinks that it was that big of a deal. Like, no one who's at least a serious person thinks that it was a big deal. Like, it really wasn't. It was just like, I mean, it was kind of cool at the time because you're like, oh shit, what's going to happen? But then nothing happened. That was it. It was an unscheduled tour at best. Like, that's it. I mean, yeah, okay, there was a little bit of destruction, a couple water bottles left on the floor. Oh my God, you know, like, what is that? Nancy Pelosi's hard drive was stolen or some shit, which, I mean, good. Like, what am I'm going to cry over a politician being held accountable potentially? Like, no. Like, what? Like, no, that's all public property. Sorry. You didn't buy that with your own money. It's in your Capitol office. That's public property right there.
And I mean, you do have like, trespass charges out there. And honestly, looking at it from a legal standpoint, there's trespass there. There's possibly some vandalism, some public indecency from the guy who took the shit on the fucking floor.
Sure. Have you ever been to spring break in Florida? I'm just saying that those are about the same charges you get on Daytona Beach during spring break. Like, some vandalism, trespassing, decent exposure. Like,
and I know the same thing was, I mean, people are, that was always the justification. You tell people it wasn't an insurrection. Well, there were people in there that were saying, hang Mike Pence. Well, I'm sure there was one person in there that started saying, hang Mike Pence, and monkey see, monkey do. The mob brain takes over, and people start repeating it over and over again. I'm not saying it's right, but
did they hang Mike Pence by chance?
They did not.
Oh, look at that. Weird, huh? So it's just words. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, we're talking about actions. I mean, I guess, is that a call to action? I suppose. So in the legal system, that might be like an illegal thing to say. But I don't think that's the same as saying, and this is not me saying it, right? But if you said, like, I am going to hang Mike Pence, that's a different thing than saying hang Mike Pence. Right. Totally different thing. Right? And obviously it's okay for me to say it there because I was just explaining that that's not what, you know, the difference between those two things. That's it. I was just explaining the difference. Wasn't suggesting anything like that.
We are probably not going to get to COVID stuff today. But I
Thank
do
God.
because of your Ancapistan nature off of this. I do want to talk about this story here. So I'm going to start reading from Ars Technica. OnlyFans bans sexually explicit content to appease banks and payment services. And there has been a lot of talk about this and what this is, what this means, and where this goes off of this. So, according to Ars Technica, effective October 1st, 2021, OnlyFans will prohibit the posting of any content containing sexually explicit conduct. OnlyFans said in a statement that the company provided to Ars in order to ensure that long-term sustainability of the platform, which the lie detector test determined that was a lie, and to continue to host inclusive community of creators and fans, we must evolve our content guidelines. Creators will continue to be allowed to post content containing nudity as long as it is consistent with our acceptable use policy. So, reading from the Ars Technica article, first and foremost, the first thing we heard on Twitter when people were laughing about this is the fact that it's just going to be bikini pics from here on out, which there are girls out there that make a tremendous amount of money just on that.
Yeah.
I follow a lot of them on Instagram because I like pretty girls. It's my weakness. You know that. We've discussed that over several drinks before.
Sure. But you just start like a feets only OnlyFans, right?
Yeah.
Just do feet pics. You'll make a killing. Because like I don't know. Either way, so obviously I don't like that payment processors are able to control what businesses do on their own site. Obviously I don't like that. So that that sucks. At the same time, OnlyFans obviously they could not capitulate. They say, okay, well, fuck you. We're gonna go like Pornhub has a payment processor, right? I imagine.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, there's obviously payment processors out there that have no problem taking pornography stuff, whatever payments. Switch to one of them. Give one of them your business, right? I mean, how much money goes through OnlyFans just from like all their like sexual stuff?
Well,
I imagine that's the bulk of the money that's going through there. I mean, who the fuck goes to OnlyFans for like I don't know someone's monologues trying to be an actor or something like that? I highly doubt that that's a huge portion of it. It's mostly like chicks fucking taking whatever diddling themselves or like taking custom video orders and stuff. Like I imagine that's what it is, right?
Well, from reading this, and I've never been to OnlyFans because I'm what's the word for what I am? Oh yeah, cheap. I'm cheap.
I was gonna say not a simp, but okay.
No, I am cheap. I will fully come out and admit. So I've never used OnlyFans for this, but just reading, following some of these girls on looking at some of these girls on their Instagram profiles that advertise for their OnlyFans, I imagine that a lot of this is they'll show off their titties, they'll post a tasteful picture in a pair of panties, but there is also the hardcore aspect of it, and girls that are taking 5 guys at a fucking time on OnlyFans site. It sounds like the actual pleasuring of oneself or having sexual intercourse. Those are the things that are going to be banned off of this, and then like the titty pictures are going to stick around.
Right. So that's what I was saying. I had an idea while you were mentioning that they would still do nudity, but like anything sexually oriented or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea, and I coined this. I'm thinking of it right now before anyone else did. All those Twitch hot tub girls move over to OnlyFans, take the tops off, and do their streams as normal on OnlyFans. They'll make way more money. And they're not doing anything sexual, right? They're just in a hot tub topless.
Yeah.
Right? But so you do your normal Twitch streams where you got it on, and then you say, oh, go to my OnlyFans for my next stream, private stream or whatever on you. Take the top off, right? Switch over to the OnlyFans, and boom. Big audience.
Yeah.
That's how you get around it. That's how you think of those things. Entrepreneurship. Very important.
There are other reports out there that are saying that this ban is going to extend to the nudie stuff too, and girls aren't going to be able to make the kind of killing that they're making off of this. They're only going to be the top percentage. But Darth Spartacus pointed out in a Discord chat that we were having at one point that with this happening here, I got a feeling that a lot of these unfilled restaurant positions that are being begged for are suddenly going to be filled again.
Yeah. That was one of the memes that's been going around. There's been a couple of really good memes. That was one of them. And then it was like when your daughter suddenly starts asking you for money again. Like that. Yeah. Like as of October 1st or something like that, your daughter starts asking you for money again. Or like, was it your mom canceled the trip to Disney World or something like that? Yeah. Those are really good.
Well, I know the sex worker community is coming out and saying, "Well, this is going to hurt us because we don't have a safe place to have our craft anymore. Now we'll have to go back out in the streets." Well, there are other options off of this.
Yeah, I mean, how many of those girls that were on OnlyFans do you think have actually been like on the streets as like a hooker, like an actual like legit prostitute? I guess it's not many.
Out. Just the ones that I follow for Instagram, I'm going to say 0%.
Right, because most of them probably come from upper middle class families, right? They're posing on their boat or whatever, on their dad's boat. Sorry, on their dad's boat, and their whatever, right? Yeah. These girls are not going back on the streets. Okay, they're just gonna have to ask daddy to support them again. That's it. They'll be okay.
Get a job. And, I've seen some of them
or
too.
Work an actual job. Yeah.
I've seen some of them too. Like, there's one girl I follow on Instagram who brags about her OnlyFans of, I bought my house. I paid for my house already. I don't need no man. I paid for my house, which that's another side of this aspect that's going to go off of there. And as far as I know, she's another one. She's only ever done, solo pretty girl stuff.
Well, that's also stupid, though. If you say I don't need no man, well, who bought your house? Who gave you the money to buy your house?
That is
lots
fair.
And lots of men. You're right. You don't need a man. You need lots and lots of men.
Lots and lots and lots of men.
You need thousands of men is what you need. Yeah. Like, don't give me that I don't need no man bullshit. Yeah, you do. You need all of them. As many as possible, in fact, to support your lifestyle. Yeah. Like, that's not independence. Like, you're actually beholden to them. That's not the same thing.
One more touch on this one here before we get into surprise stupidity and check live chat for the day here. Because, once again, I saw it and you have to see it too. I hope you haven't seen this already because this is hilarious. You know who has joined OnlyFans?
Oh,
somebody
God.
prominent.
Hang on, let me guess. Oh, AOC.
No.
Damn. Maybe that's just wishful thinking.
You want to take a second one? Somebody prominent in the culture war.
Alex Jones.
No.
Oh, damn. That would have been great, wouldn't it? Alex Jones.
Rachel Dolezal launches OnlyFans for foot pics and squats.
Oh, I never would have guessed. Foot pics, you said?
And squats.
All right. I guess fair enough. I mean, she's not unattractive.
And you question my taste.
I said she's not unattractive. Okay, that's a double negative. All right. That's as low as you can get without being unattractive.
According to the New York Post, infamous race faker Rachel Dolezal, and they actually put that in the article, announced her new hustle selling foot pics on the NSFW content subscription service, which is probably not going to be NSFW for long. I got approved, link in bio, the 43-year-old, who is notorious for being white but pretending to be black, captioned on an Instagram image of her new OnlyFans page. The former president of Spokane, Washington's National Association for the Advancement of Colored People chapter went on to announce she'll begin sharing content on September 1st, promising 3 weekly posts plus others sprinkled in, 12 plus content pieces per month. She's currently offering the first 10 subscribers 40% off or just $3 for their first 30 days as she joins the ranks of other name celebrities on the site. One thing to point out and think about this, because, I mean, Dolezal, yeah, she's going to be one that you wouldn't have expected to go out in this, but, I mean, OnlyFans was starting to get a little bit corporatized, too. I mean, what did Bella Thorne, the former Disney chick, get on OnlyFans and make, like, $1 million in the first 4 hours on there? Like, some ridiculous amount of money, and it's this a massively short amount of time. Movie stars, celebrities, other people like that were starting to get in on the hustle and tried to make a bunch of money off of this kind of stuff. And then, yes, now Dole is all too. So now you have a place to go spend your money, John. Are you locking up on it?
I guess so, yeah. Yeah, I'm giving up on. Oh man, my internet's all fucked up. Damn it! All right, there we go. I think I'm back. Okay. Yeah, but she's not that attractive to where I'm not going to spend money to see her feet. Like, I'm not into feet for one, so it doesn't really do anything for me. And squats don't really do anything for me either. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I like a nice fat ass, but like, just like moving it around doesn't really do anything for me. I gotta grab it. I gotta be able to, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta be able to get in there, you know.
Well, I mean, one of the things. So, like, you know, I like, as I mentioned, I follow a lot of girl accounts on Instagram, and you know, I like to look at them and everything. But it's like, I had one girl pressure me, like, "Where's your like and your comment for this?" I'm like, "Bitch, we're never going to be in the same room together. Why the hell would I come out and announce to the world that I'm simping for you? I'm just going to sit back and enjoy how nice your ass is."
Right.
And get on
As
with
I'm
my day.
scrolling through to the next ass, yeah.
Yes.
Like, you're just one ass of many. Like, I'm scrolling right by you. Yeah.
But yeah, that's our OnlyFans story for the day here. And I have one more story for you here. It's a little bit of surprise stupidity for you. Unfortunately, we tried to go without doing any COVID. Well, we didn't try because I had a bunch of it in there, but we do have to end the show on a little bit of COVID stuff here. So, if you're ready, reading from the New York Post today, a year's supply of free meat is the latest COVID-19 vaccine bribe. Where's the beef? It's in the hands of Utah's vaccinated population. JBS Beef is offering 5 pounds of free ground beef, along with an entry to win a full year's supply of free meat to any person who shows up to get jabbed at either of the city of Hiram's 2 COVID-19 vaccination sites, according to KUTV. Utah is working with the Bear River Health Department and the beef processing plant in Hiram to launch the campaign Your Shot at Free Meat for a Year. The puns just make you cringe. That's the surprise stupidity of all this. Apart from the free beef initiative, one winner from each vaccination site will receive a year's worth of beef, pork, and poultry for a family of 4. Every COVID-19 vaccine received will help keep our team members and our community safe and healthy, said JBS Hiram plant manager Darren Olson in a statement. This sweepstake is a great incentive to encourage everyone to come out and do their part to help put an end to the pandemic. I have questions. First off, is this your definition of a year's supply of meat or mine?
Yeah, I was going to say, because, yeah, there's a difference there. I mean, it's for a family of 4, so I imagine that's the same definition that you would have for one person, right? Same amount, probably.
Maybe. I am from Wisconsin. We take our beef seriously up here.
Yeah. I mean, these, like, COVID incentives, vaccination incentives, that pisses me off so much more. That makes me just, like, I super don't want to get the vaccination, like, just out of spite. Just, like, don't fucking dangle the carrot in front of me. Like, don't do it. Like, I'm just going to pull on the string and just be like, fuck you, go away. Like, no. I don't want no fucking carrot, all right? If I want to get the thing, I'll get the thing. If I don't, I won't. That's it.
Yeah, and I mean, I am open to the idea of the bodily autonomy of the vaccine. Like, I'm not going to be the kind of person that says, I hate you if you went out and got the vaccine. I know that we have some people that... Yeah. I've even said on Contemporary, if you want to get the vaccine and you have no way to get there, I will drive you there.
Yeah,
just don't ask me to go in with you. I will take you there. Right. You have your body, your choice.
Right. 100%. I just ask for the same respect. That's it. How hard is that? But I'm the bad guy for that, just because I asked for the same respect of bodily autonomy. Like, sorry, I'm not making the choice that you want me to make.
It is kind of telling, though, that they're... I mean, I don't know what grade of beef they're using either. Like, if it's like 80-20, 70-30 chuck or anything like that.
It's like Taco Bell meat.
Yeah.
It's like
so
Taco Bell meat.
I also have to wonder if this is promoting obesity to get a vaccine against a disease that seems to disproportionately affect the obese. I don't know if you had any thought on that one or not.
What about it affecting the obese? Yeah, I mean,
And
it certainly
promoting the
doesn't help with
obesity,
that.
eating a whole bunch of fucking meat
Yeah,
for a year.
I mean, bodily autonomy, right? I mean, right?
But I mean, they were throwing stuff out there like trucks and vacations in the state parks of West Virginia, which I've never been to a state park in West Virginia. I can't tell you if that's going to be an incentive or not, or $1 million or $5 million or big California lotteries. They've got all kinds of incentives to kind of try to do this. And, here we sit. Where's the beef?
Yeah.
John, that's all I got. Let's see what the live chat's doing, huh? And then let's get you out of here. So you can go do what it is you need to do, and I can go and make some chicken tenders. Speaking of meat.
Oh, you're gonna have some tendies, dude. Fuck yeah.
Homemade tendies.
What kind of sauce would you be enjoying with your tendies?
Ranch, because I think that's all I have right now. Oh, I might have some parm garlic sauce, actually. I have some, because they sell that in big jars at one of the local grocery stores.
You have 4 choices when it comes to sauces for tendies, okay? You got ketchup, you got barbecue sauce, buffalo sauce, and honey mustard. That's it.
I might actually have some honey mustard, too.
That's an acceptable option. How dare you, Ed? How dare you?
All right, let's see what these guys are doing and head out of here for the day. Oh, let's go back. How far back do we have to go here? Jeez. It's like we did 3 topics in a row.
I know. It's almost like the chat is lively tonight.
Yeah, they were. They definitely were. Wow. Okay, we're back to LARPing. So there's Seki, and that must be where we are. Harvey McLeod says, I always found that fascinating that the most common ground people can find is their distrust of the government. And there is too much trust of the government right now, I will say.
Yeah. Well, that's what's even funnier is that the sides that do trust the government are still against each other. It's like, okay.
Ron Helton,
this is that divide.
Ron Helton doesn't think this guy's a Fed. He says, the dude had a mental breakdown and bet you that he also abuses drugs and alcohol, not a Fed. I see a lot of this weird behavior with meth heads in the area.
So that's what I was reading as he was putting that down. I can absolutely see that, and I get that. But again, the accent, I just can't get off the accent.
And the timing.
I can't get away
That's what got me was the timing.
And the timing. But see, again, it goes back to like the FBI still sets people up to do these things. Like this is like documented. This is not some kind of conspiracy theory. This is well documented that they do this. They find some usually mentally ill, lonely sap and convince him to do extremist things so that they can arrest him and say, hey, look, we caught this extremist doing this, planning this extremist stuff. Meanwhile, like 8 out of the 10 people involved in a plot, are feds. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it happens all the time. It's happened ever since, like 2002? This has been
or
going
12
on
out of 17 if you're in Michigan.
Yeah, exactly. That's another good example. Yeah, like, most of them are feds. Like, and they're just bringing these poor saps along with them to have them arrested eventually. It's fucking diabolical, man. So, yeah, he might not be an actor, but he was definitely lead, for sure.
Or he was eating lead, one of the two.
Or both.
Hiley says, that man is the biggest glowing one I've ever seen. Mr. Behavior says, Ed doesn't watch movies. I've seen like 5 movies in my life, and one of them was Forrest Gump. It's actually been more than 5, but not very many more than 5.
Right.
I never have time to watch a movie. I'm always working or doing something else. And I can,
I
with
always
the TV
watch the
series,
same stuff over and over again. No, go ahead.
With a TV series, I can break it up into easily digestible 30 or 45-minute chunks. So it's easier on my schedule than sitting down and watching a full movie.
Yeah. And see, I just kind of watch the same shit over and over again. I don't watch, like, new stuff all that often.
Harvey McLeod says, weird, I haven't heard about this. Highleaf says, also, why did he throw dollar bills all over the street? I didn't hear about that. I know he claimed he had a bunch of coins in his truck.
Yeah, that I heard about. I didn't hear about him throwing money on the street. What was that about? I don't know. I didn't hear about that.
Let's see. Ron says maybe he threw it for the whores, hookers, and grifters in Congress.
Fair.
Ron says, boy, am I below the poverty line. My SUV is 21 years old.
Fair, yeah.
Highleaf says, now we wait for the wife of this dude to be interviewed, if she exists. Nephilim says, or sell the truck and you're rich for a minute.
Yeah.
Nephilim Ninja had to take off. Thank you, Nephilim Ninja, for that. Harvey McLeod says, not a peep about autonomous zones popping up that are technically insurrections. Those are not technically insurrections. They're just protests against police violence.
So what's funny is in the technical sense of the word insurrection, it's violence against an authority. Mm-hmm. So something as simple as punching a cop is technically an insurrection, which is why it's the dumbest fucking definition ever. It's really dumb. It's every little thing that you do is potentially an insurrection.
Harvey says, nope, all of a sudden January 6th is an insurrection. All of a sudden cops are heroes. Especially the cop that killed Ashley Babbitt. Stephen thinks that was a psyop and that Ashley Babbitt is alive or didn't exist in the first place. And, I mean, he makes a compelling argument for it. I don't know if I believe it or not, but he makes a compelling argument. Ron says, hell, John, they were comparing January 6th to Pearl Harbor, December 7th, 1941.
It's true.
Harvey says, you think the Army's going to fight for a country knowing the government doesn't have their back? Ever hear about the Russian Revolution? Oh, Harvey is on fire on this on the OnlyFans part. Oh, who cares? Titty girls contributing nothing to society get no money, and incels contributing to those not contributing to society have to go back to internet porn.
Yeah.
Mr. Behavior thinks porn is degenerate.
I mean, fair.
Harvey says, it is a huge contributor to male depression, in my opinion, and the rise in low dating rates.
Yep.
Harvey says, out in the streets, not for long, honey. Once they start mandating those lockdowns and vaccine passports.
Yep.
Ron says, OnlyFans girls will just run for Congress and become paid government whores.
That's true. Fair. Mr. Behavior's on fire too about the
from the streets stuff. They came, and to the streets they shall return. Apparently, Harvey doesn't know who Dolezal is.
Interesting.
Mr. Behavior knows who Dolezal is.
Yeah, he does.
She's average. I can give her average. I can't give her good looking. I can give her average.
Wow, you passed. I like how you passed by the part where Mr. Behavior says John isn't wrong. Just saying, you know. All the parts where John's right, you're skipping right through that.
Of course I
am.
Right? She's 43, looks better than a lot of 20-year-olds, just saying. I don't want to go up where you live then. But I live not that far from a college either, so... It's a state school, but it's still a college. Mr. Behavior says a chick with a nice ass doing squats will do it. That's cap. Harvey says, oh, gee whiz, meat. Well, I'm sold. Yeah, apparently, and she was talking about this on her stream for Stardew last night, that her brother's trying to convince her to get the vaccine currently, and he's a nurse.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not going to get it. But I will help anybody who wants it go get it. Ron Helton says, if these jabs were safe and effective, they would not have to bribe people to take them. People will line up for things that are good. This jab is crap. Behavior says, how are you going to tell a pregnant woman to inject herself with an experimental medicine? No, it's FDA approved now. It's FDA approved. So the government said it's okay. You can put this in your body. Harvey says, just read the comment section of doctors walking out on unvaxxed people. Yeah, we'll be talking about that in the morning, I'm sure. Because I'll be looking into some of that. It'll royally piss you off. Mr. Behavior says, Ed is hungry now. Yeah, I am hungry. Because I didn't have lunch today. I rarely have lunch, but yeah, I didn't have any of that today. I'm ready to go have some chicken tenders. Bred them myself, the way God intended.
Little tendies.
A little bit of tendies. And Ron will get last word of the night. Says he has an ex-wife, the brain-damaged bomber. And that's going to be it. Let's throw some music up here and let's get out, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right, so thank you everybody who came by and chatted in the live chat with us here tonight. And thank you, John, again for helping us out. Hopefully we'll get our regularly scheduled co-host back here at some point in the near future. And we can start to have the conversations against, well, actual ANCAP versus the Libertarian Party. So we'll talk just a little bit about that some more coming up in the near future. But still, we've had some great people on here in the past few weeks. I'm very, very happy with the people who've come on and helped me out here. I think I've done 1 week where I had to go solo. So thank you guys. Thank you everybody who's helped me out here. Thank everybody who chatted in the live chat, everybody who's donated, everybody who's come and helped us out. The donate links are in the chat, by the way, if you want to throw us a couple bucks. That would be awesome. Thank you very much for that in advance as well if you think we do a good job. Otherwise, if you didn't catch the whole episode and you want to catch back up with us, you can go check us out on YouTube once it processes and over on BitChute.com, or you can take us on the go on the audio platforms, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify. You can go check us out anywhere you get your podcasts. And if I'm somewhere that you don't get your podcast, let me know and we will add that up to the lineup. So we want to be available to you. And lastly, before we head out of there, to my wonderful guests, why don't you tell them where they can find you?
Yes, you can find me once a week on the Porch Boys podcast. I'll throw the link in the chat one more time there. We stream starting now every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. in the One True time zone. That is, of course, the Eastern time zone. We look forward to seeing you guys there.
Yeah, go and check them out. And also go check out The Porch Boys. I don't know how you spell that over there anymore. Over on Twitter.
Boys, just like that.
Yeah, go and check them out over there. You'll got spicy takes and you'll get announcements for whenever they go live. So make sure you go and check that out. Okay. And lastly, as we head on out of here for the night, my words of wisdom remain the same. Never take the words of bloggers, podcasters, or journalists as gospel. Find all the facts and draw your own conclusions. And I mean, we saw a lot of lies in this specific live stream. So that advice holds true because these people, if they have an agenda, and they'll lie to you and even fact check my stuff. Because I might be trying to sell you a bill of goods you don't like either, but check everybody out and find all the facts. John, lead them out with some last words.
Always ripe, front to back and back to front. You'll never know how much you miss until you do that.
Thank you guys. Have a good night, and we will see you next time. Take care.
See you guys.